Hello, and welcome to Finder and Keeper, the podcast, a podcast for the woman who is on a journey of finding herself and keeping herself. I'm Ashley, and I'm your host. Today, we're talking about something we do not always associate with growth, and that is grief. Because becoming her, the version of you, the version that is more whole, often means saying goodbye to who you used to be. And that hurts, even if it's right. I used to think healing would only feel like freedom. It would feel light, it would feel joyful. I did not expect the grief at all. There was a moment, and I can see it so clearly. If you listen to my very first podcast episode and not the one that I just recently released, I'm talking about very first 2024 podcast episode, you would have known that I talked about a pretty traumatic relationship that I was in. That relationship didn't just hurt me in that moment, but it truly rewired me. And it changed how I saw myself, how I trusted, even how I would walk into a room. The girl I was before, let me tell you, she was softer in a way that did make her vulnerable, but I was so full of light that didn't know fear yet. And as much as I want to go back to her, I cannot. That version of me only existed before I knew what it was like to be broken down the way that I was. She got me through some of the hardest seasons. She protected me in ways, the only way she knew how, which was at that point in time, was shrinking, staying quiet just to survive. And I had to let that go. I think grief and healing isn't just about people we lose. It's honestly about the version of ourselves that we outgrew. It's kind of a strange morning, to be honest, because no one else notices it. No one else notices that when you're sitting in the corner or when you're quiet, you're just kind of thinking about, who you were before all the trauma happened, who you were before things that truly changed you happen. But you feel it, and you can sometimes feel it in your bones. I know you can. You are grieving the girl who didn't have to carry certain memories, the girl who believed certain things about love, the girl who probably hadn't been betrayed yet by lovers, by friends, by family, by anything. And while that girl may have been naive, she was yours. She was yours. And letting her go means acknowledging that you've changed forever. Forever. And that, my friend, is a hard truth to hold. And one thing that I have learned is that grief is proof of love. When someone passes away, we always speak about how when you're crying, when you're sad, when you're depressed, that's proof that you loved that person. Well, it's proof that you loved yourself. When you're feeling grief in your healing journey, it's proof that you loved her, the old you. And that's why it hurts so, so bad to let her go. It kills you to let her go sometimes. But honoring her does not mean becoming her again. It does not mean working to become that girl again. It means taking those lessons, carrying those lessons without carrying those wounds. I keep small pieces of her with me. The hope, the finding beauty in small things, the laughs that hurt my stomach. But I can no longer keep the parts of her that kept me small. You can no longer keep the parts of her that kept you small. That's the balance. We can honor our old selves by remembering them with compassion, but not by living in those patterns. Grief, a lot of times, will tell you, wait, hold on, hold on. But growth is going to ask you to let go. It's going to always ask you to let go. And healing is learning to live with both So we're holding on to those memories of who we were in one hand, and then in our other hand, we're reaching for who you're becoming in the other. Some days, many days, I have to be honest, many days, I still miss her. I miss her all the time, honestly. It's not some days, it's all the time. But I've also had to learn to love who I am now. A woman who's been through fire, who's rebuilt herself, and who has been able to find her voice again. So I kind of want to share some steps that have helped me, not in like a quick fix kind of way, but as a gentle guide to kind of hold on to when you're feeling those, when grief kind of feels a bit too heavy, you know? So for starters, I know it's going to sound crazy, but name what you've lost. Name what you've lost, girl. Sometimes we just carry this ache without even realizing what it is. And maybe you're grieving a relationship, a dream, or a version of yourself you were before it happened. And just say it out loud. Just say, I'm grieving the me who, let's see, I'm grieving the me who wanted to be a Disney Channel star. I'm grieving the me that wanted to be a Disney Channel star. And naming it makes it real. And real things can be faced. So I encourage you to, after this podcast, take a journal, sit down, and write down a list of things that you are grieving or chapters that you're grieving so that you can put a name to a face and really understand what it is that you're feeling. My next thing, number 2, is going to be allow the feelings. Grief isn't just sadness, it is anger, it is numbness, it is guilt, and it can sometimes be relief. And all of that are valid feelings. But if we're not allowing ourselves to feel every single feeling, we're not helping ourselves at all in this journey. You don't have to force yourself into one right emotion. You can let that shit be messy. Like one day you might be happy, the next day you might be numb. But if you are allowing yourself to feel it, you are allowing yourself to get through it. My next step, number 3, would be to create a safe space for your grief to exist. And that might be journaling, therapy, prayer, or just confiding in someone that you trust. But give your grief somewhere to go. You do not have to carry it in silence. One of the most dangerous things is to be hurting and no one knows around you. And I know a lot of times a lot of us, we are the strong friend. We want to be there for everybody else. We want to not let no one worry about us. But sometimes, girl, you need to let somebody worry about you. You need to be crying on somebody's shoulder. Because I think for me as a friend, um, the worst thing that I feel like, the worst thing for me is for one of my friends to be grieving and hurting and me not know. And I really hope that I can be that space for someone when they need to just let that stuff off, when they need to release it. Just give it a space to exist because it can't exist inside of your body. We already know about the autoimmune diseases that happen when we are carrying so much in our body. Find it a place to go. Find it a place to go. Step 4, find rituals to release it. Find your ritual, girl. Sometimes letting go needs a moment, and it can be a big moment. You can write that stuff down on a plate and break it. I seen that on TikTok. People was writing stuff down on plates and breaking it. But maybe put the plate in a bag and then break it so then you don't got glass all over the place, because let's be conscious about what we're doing, and let's think about others maybe when we're just throwing glass. You can do that, or maybe something more simple like writing a letter that you'll never send, or lighting a candle, crying to that song, girl, or planting something in memory, which I think is honestly a really great idea. Just think, if you take a little plant seed, plant it, and then cherish it, take care of it, you're watching that memory of you grow. And that can honestly represent yourself. You planted this memory, you planted this grief, and now watch it grow into something beautiful. So I really think it's important to create some type of ritual that makes the release tangible. Number 5 would be to carry what's worth keeping. Not everything from your old chapter has to be left behind, okay? Maybe it's a lesson, a way of loving, a piece of hope, but ask yourself, what part of this still serves me? So let's say you were in a relationship and you are a real lover girl. Don't take that away. Don't become this anti-lover, anti just love in general. You can still be a lover girl, but don't take those parts of you that really are who you are at your core, because it didn't serve you in the way that you thought it was going to serve you at a certain period of time. If you were funny, if you were curious or spontaneous, take that with you. Don't leave that behind just because someone else might have not appreciated it. That's who you are. So understand what's worth carrying and what's not worth carrying. So being a lover girl, being spontaneous, being fun, that's worth carrying. Being someone who is shrinking, that is not worth carrying. And number 6, give yourself permission to become someone new. We don't get back to who we were before. That's never going to happen. We will never be, and we shouldn't want to be, the person that we were before. We grow into somebody else, and that's not a loss, it's a transformation. And it's okay to change. It's okay to look in the mirror and see someone new staring back at you. That's what we want. That is what the whole purpose of healing and grieving is. These 6 steps are some of the steps that I have been using for myself, and I also hope that they are a bit of help for you as well. You know, if you're in a space where you feel like you're losing yourself, maybe you are, girl. Maybe you are. But maybe, just maybe, you are also finding someone who is even more whole on the other side of that loss. Thank you for listening to Finder and Keeper. If this episode resonated with you, share with someone who's learning to let go and begin again. And I will see you next time. Bye.